since apparently the deal is now I post just chatting streams to the podcast feed just so there's something there to listen to. Otherwise, this would be what, 3 weeks in a row without a show?
Yeah, you're right.
Because Thanksgiving was last week. The week before that, like, two of you were busy or dying or
Hmm.
I don't remember now. No, no, I don't remember at all. Or I was di- I don't remember why we didn't do a show the week before Thanksgiving. I know at the time I was like, all right, let's just not do one.
Was that when Brian had the really tough case?
Maybe.
Yeah, and I wasn't. I was working on something too, I think.
Oh yeah. So it would have been just me and Dirk, which means that's awful. No offense to you, of
Well,
course, Dirk, but just me and
well,
one other person from the four of us is never good.
Hmm.
it does
Hmm.
tend to get boring very easily.
Yeah. So, hello. We are just chatting. Uh, so Dirk, we were before we hit the record button, you were talking about new games and not playing them, and I was like, oh wait, that's the thing we should talk about when there's people listening.
Hmm.
So what is it you were saying about like comfort games or something to that effect?
Yeah. Well, we had talked about uh, just I had gone like for Thanksgiving. You got Black Friday and everything. You go to I went to one of the local game stores, and I bought some Magic stuff to show my love for the local retail and everything. And Chewie had said, sort of like indie developers on Steam, that they get a little bit of it, even though you probably won't ever get around to playing it. And I was telling him that I had a whole bunch of those that I had that on my desktop right now. I've got Fable Anniversary, Kingdom Hearts, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls, like the like I had the Anniversary Edition, and then or the special edition, whatever the most recent one is, and then they added all the other extra stuff for the 10th anniversary. And then I have the OG Final Fantasy all from Steam. And of those, I've beaten Fable. I've played through Mass Effect, and that's the only ones that I've played other than Skyrim because I wanted to try out the new stuff. So half the games on my computer I haven't played recently. As in, I bought them and they're sitting there going, "Please play me," and I'm just going, eh, because when I'm in the mood to kind of my problem is I don't really have a lot of time. Mike and Chewy, well, Mike probably has the same feeling too, where I have something, I would love to play it, but that would mean I would have to have time to do something like that.
Yeah, and you don't
And
have enough time to like fully immerse yourself. So if you're like, if I'm
right,
not gonna do it right, I'm not gonna do it right now.
because the thing is with new games, you are a blank slate. You don't know what to expect. Like when I played Mass Effect the first time, you know, it was like everyone was saying, "Oh, it's such a great game and everything." And so the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm going, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not really sure what to do. It's not until you sort of power through the first 30 minutes that you actually get to the okay, I understand why this is such a great game now. And so you have to kind of be in the mood to try something new. And if I go to my Steam account, like half the games I have never played. They have never been installed on my computer. And it's not that I don't want to play them, it's that when I have time, I'm not usually in the mindset of I want to try something new. I'm in the mindset of, you know what? I really just want to play some Civ 6. I just want to play Civ 6. I want to do something mindless, so that way I can kind of get out of the brain space I'm in of, coming home from work or having done whatever. I just want to play something that I know that I can just instantly takes me takes me to, you know, doing grinding or just whatever. And so I never really I'm personally having problems playing new games that I want to play. And so that was what we were talking about before. Chelsea, uh, the Minecraft updated the newest patch, so she's been playing that and having lots of fun. I would love to play some Kingdom Hearts, but right now I'm playing Elder Scrolls.
Wait.
like I want to do that, but the problem is Kingdom Hearts requires grinding, and Elder Scrolls has new fun things that I'm going and finding.
Wait, are you playing ESO?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, not online. No.
Oh,
Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
oh, you're playing Skyrim. Okay.
And I'm playing they had the anniversary one come out where they added a whole bunch of quests and just lots of just random stuff. And so I've been playing the lots of random stuff. And I will say a lot of it is actually kind of fun. And all I also have to say is thank goodness I'm a werewolf. Because there are a lot of new things, like was it the Saints and Saviors? Saints and Sinners? Something like that. There's these bandits, and the problem is they are just, if I fight them as a human, they will they will they will spank me like something fierce.
Not
So the only
in the
way
happy
I've been
fun
able
way.
to win. Do what?
So not in the happy fun way.
Not in the happy fun way, as in I go in, I'm like, ah, and the dude whips out a big old sword and goes, batter up, and sends my head flying halfway across the map. So, the only way I've been able to win against them is I have to turn into a werewolf and then just sort of run into the middle of them, swipe one of them, send him flying, and then try and wail on the other ones before I die.
Yeah,
I would also like to point out I'm level 38, and they are still beating the snot out of me. I have dragon armor on, and they're still beating me.
Damn. Yeah, back when I was doing the Skyrim streams on Fridays, whenever the hell that was, I have no concept of the passage of time, forward or backward. I just know that for a while I was playing Skyrims on Friday nights. And yeah, the werewolf was a fun. It seemed to make some of the places too easy. Where I'm like, okay, I'm struggling. Let's go in as a werewolf and do it. And then it was just like a cat batting around a piece of yarn. Like, ah ha ha, whap whap whap. You're all dead. Like, huh.
So, but right now, like last I played, I was doing the Dawn Guard DLC. So I'm actually a vampire now, and just sort of doing all that. Is trying to do all the Dawn Guard stuff.
I still have never done Dawn Guard or Dragonborn. But by the time I got done with the main story, I'd actually never beaten Skyrim until I beat it on stream, because there's so much to do that back in the day I just kept doing other stuff and then never went into either of the DLCs or the actual end game. And then yet I still played for, hundreds of hours. And so on stream I was like, damn it, we're doing this, and I beat it. And at that point I realized I was really sick of Skyrim. I still have it installed, and at some point I can go back and do the DLCs that I didn't, but
yeah. Well, and that's kind of where I am right now. Is I wanted to try out the new stuff, and I've tried out some of the new stuff. Like there's stuff where there's a big push to ride horses, where there's a dwarven horse that you can go and find the parts for, and you get a mechanical horse.
Wait, when you say new stuff, are you being serious? Like actual new stuff
Yeah.
in Skyrim?
So what they did is they had the anniversary, the 10th anniversary stuff got added, and you either have to buy the special edition with it, or if you already have the special edition, it's like $20 to buy the anniversary stuff, and it's
Huh.
additional. It's like it's mods that people made for it, and because they're mods, um, some are good, some are not great, but it's like they took the best of them, which includes additional quests, and
Huh.
they added it to it. So yeah,
That's cool. I had no idea that was. You kept saying new stuff, and I'm like, okay, Dirk. But then you're bringing up stuff I've never heard of. I'm like, wait, what?
yeah, it's anniversary edition,
Huh.
and like there's a list of stuff they've added to it.
Yet another re-release of freaking Skyrim instead of
Yeah,
making a new
well,
game.
and that's part of why was it for Elder Scrolls 6 and Halo Infinity, both of them because they're Microsoft and everything. I think the big story between them is we want this to be a decade game where we will just keep, this will be the game that we'll just update stuff. We'll release DLC. We'll do anniversary, special anniversary stuff for, because this is the game you're going to play for next 10 years. Which, I mean, that's what Skyrim is. It's a decade game. It's a game that you get sick and tired of it, and then you're like, you know what? I just want to do something mindless, and then you put Skyrim back on, and then you're right back where you were, doing everything, and then eventually you're just like, I'm sick of this. Oh, they downloaded, they made some new stuff for it. Well, I gotta try it again now with the new stuff. So I mean, that's the reason why I was back in playing it again.
Huh. See, to me, that's just rewarding bad behavior.
It
Because
really
even
is.
though they have released new stuff for it, they still haven't fixed any of the goddamn bugs. If you want to fix any of the dozens of game breaking bugs that exist in Skyrim, you gotta go with mods. Because Bethesda can't be arsed.
Oh, the big one that was added was fishing.
Of course. That was
It,
literally the only thing missing. Like, wait, you mean there's fishing in Zelda games and we can't do it in our game? Hold my beer, because they're drinking on the job, because it's Bethesda. Lord. I've uh I've been on a beat 'em up tear recently. Because so I had this idea while I was
Mhm.
streaming beat 'em up. Like I played all the classic ones, like The Simpsons, which is it turns out is not good, and the original Ninja Turtles game, which it turns out is not good, and the holy crap, Brian's here.
Wow.
Sort of. So
And then there was
the
a sound.
desktop. Can you hear me? Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Piccolo resub. Hey,
Okay.
buddy. Thank you.
So the desktop is continuing to restart, and it's giving me all sorts of error messages. So that's going to be an issue for a lot more than just the show. Like it won't open Discord like at all. It just kept being like okay, and then I was in the task manager and it's not even popping up. And now it's giving me system errors. The code execution cannot proceed because at 32.dll was not found. Reinstalling the program may fix this. This is as I'm trying to just log into my user.
Wait,
So
spell that? What? What.dll?
O Leaut 32.
Shared file installed by the operating system used by the setup program. It's more like an installer piece that is needed to complete the setup or installation of a program. Which Windows are you using?
I don't know. Probably an old one. This is one that Carrie had at the office, and I was able to purchase off of them when they didn't need it anymore. Let's go to settings. That'll tell me what kind of Windows this is. So far, it's kind of flat. I wouldn't call it more of a window and more of a monitor. You can't really see through to the other side. All right, system. It's coming up real slow. So, system, display, sound, notifications, actions, focus, assist, power, and sleep, storage, tablet, multitasking, projection to this PC, about. Here we go. All right. Windows 10 Pro.
Okay. So, yeah, not an old one.
Okay. Oh. No, it's not like Windows 95, but don't they have Windows 20 or something now, or is it 11? I can't keep track.
There is Windows 11, but I think is it 11's been having issues, hasn't it?
Well, it's a new Windows. Of course, it's been having issues. I
At least
always
it's
wait
not
like
this
2
time.
years before I upgrade because I don't have time for all that.
I can open Chrome, but see, so say I close that system error, right? Pops up again in the middle, only this time it says OneNote em.exe system error. And it gives me the same Oleat 32 was not found. But I don't even use OneNote.
Wonder if you have picked up a virus
Well,
somewhere.
it's integrated into a lot of Office-related stuff.
Yeah.
It could be. Now, I don't use this for any sort of risky behavior, as far as I'm aware. I just use it to check email and run Discord are about the only things. How can I diagnose that? I'm sure I have something on here.
I mean, maybe that one digital library just went corrupt or something.
Well, let's not do this live on the air, though. As much as I want to solve your problem, I don't want to solve it while we're streaming.
I realize that. So we are streaming then.
Yeah.
So, hey everybody, I exist. Kind of, sort of.
Nice.
It's true.
It's been a day, which I won't take up people's time with it. It has been a day. How's everybody else doing? I'm sure you already talked about this before I was here, but how are you doing?
I had hiccups so bad last night that I hurt today. Oh, that was before the stream. So, hey, chat, for those of you that were here last night, I had hiccups while I was playing Dead Cells, right? For like the whole time. And they hurt. And it was awful. And like for normal, everyday hiccups, you know, people all have their own little trick. Oh, well, drink some water and hold your nose and put some peanut butter on the roof of your mouth. And then, you know, sing Oh Susanna while you tickle your balls. Shut up, okay? That's all just nonsense that is there to trick your brain. Because it makes you focus on other things instead of the hiccup. I don't actually know how it works. But I don't have to do that. I could just say, hey, brain, frickin' stop that. And my brain will go, oh, my bad. Like, for a very long time now, if I get normal hiccups, I just have to, like, focus for a minute, and they will go away. Because I'm the chosen one, I guess. I don't know. But last night, they would not stop, and they were painful, and it hurt. And for, like, probably 2/3 of the Dead Cells stream, I had just god-awful painful hiccups. And after the stream, I got up and grabbed some Tums because the hiccups were so bad that like they caused heartburn. And I went, ugh. So I took some Tums, and as soon as I chewed up the Tums and swallowed them, the hiccups disappeared. And I was like, what? I don't, okay, whatever. Thank you. So then I goofed around for a while, and then I finished reading Summer Night, the fourth book of the Dresden Files, and I went, yay, that was good. And then I came back here to the office and put Summer Night back on the shelf and grabbed Grave Peril, which is book 3, which I didn't realize because it was late and I was tired, and took it back to the bedroom and threw it down with the bookmark in it and said, okay, I'll start that one tomorrow. And I laid down and the hiccups started again, and I went, no, like, and they hurt again, and I went, son of a bitch. And hey, Odin-san, thank you for that 54 month, holy crap, resub. Mwah. Jesus Christ, 54 months. Damn. But, so I got up and said, okay, I know what fixed this last time, and I grabbed some Tums and ate them, and that didn't do anything. And eventually I just gave up and went to sleep. Like, I don't remember the hiccups stopping. I just was so tired that I finally went to sleep, right?
Huh?
So, that was yesterday. The stream itself was great. The hiccups were god awful. And so today I went, I did some writing. I'll talk about that later probably. And then I dashed, and I came home and I ate some Taco Bell, and I realized while I was eating Taco Bell there was this weird pain in my back, right between my shoulder blades. And like if I push my shoulders back, I can feel it right there. And I was like, that's weird. And then I realized that it hurt to take a deep breath. And I recognized that pain, it's a diaphragm. My diaphragm apparently got strained because those hiccups were so bad and lasted for so long. So now if I go like, that hurt, not like bad, it's not like it's like, oh, but there's pain there that shouldn't be. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And it's actually, in like the hour that we've been on this call, it's actually been getting a little bit worse. So that was fun. Still not bad, I don't need to go to the doctor or anything. It's literally my diaphragm is apparently a little strained from the damn hiccups. So, yeah.
That's what you get when you eat marsupials.
I guess. I don't remember eating any possum. Wait, is a
Porcupines
possum a marsupial, or does it just have a pouch?
I just assumed porcupines are marsupial.
I don't think
Porcupines
porcupines
are
are
not.
marsupial. What was that, Dirk?
They're not.
I didn't think so, no. Are possums?
Yes.
Yes.
Aha! Okay.
Porcupines, marsupials. No, porcupines are large rodents.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
that's what you get for eating rodents.
clearly. To be fair, though, we didn't
Well, that's
actually
awesome.
eat porcupines. That's just what it's called. And they should be called hedgehogs.
Yeah. Which you had told me about that before, and I don't think I ever pictured it until you tweeted that picture of what they look like in the cookbook, and I'm like, oh, those do look like porcupines.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for
Do they
Thanksgiving,
taste like meatballs, or
for Thanksgiving this year, we had the traditional Thanksgiving porcupines. And nobody commented on the fact that I said traditional Thanksgiving porcupines. I said that to like 5 different places, and nobody was like, "What?" It's like I know I live in the South, but damn, y'all, we're not that messed up. But yeah,
they
they're
taste like-
they're like meatballs in like a sort of sauce, and they've got rice in them, so that the meatballs look like little balled up hedgehogs.
they look good from the picture that you shared.
Oh yeah, they're
so.
glorious. The picture I used that picture because Mom has been slowly altering the recipe over the years, because that picture is from a Betty Crocker thing from like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the way that they made stuff in the 70s is not like we do today in cookbooks of that sort, because there are things like gelatin cake, and there's some nightmares and stuff like that. And so, yeah, Mom has been slowly altering the recipe, just with her own, well, let's try this, let's try that. And this time, they didn't look right. They were glorious, like, flavor-wise. They tasted fine, but they didn't look right. They looked like weird potatoes. Like, the way they were shaped, because she did something to make them stay together better, which the old man and I don't understand, because the first thing we do is, like, chop them up. So the fact that they're meatballs don't actually matter to us. But they do to Mom, so, whatever makes her happy. So, but I looked at it and I went, you can't even see the rice. Those don't look like porcupines. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, no, don't be sorry. I'm sure they taste fine. Like, that was never a question. Just, I can't take a picture to show people because they don't look right. But she had showed me the little card that had the picture. I was like, I'll just take a picture of that and post it so people know what the hell I'm talking about. It'll be fine. Yeah, they were really good. And the leftovers were really good. I had those a couple nights ago. Yeah. How'd you guys do for Thanksgiving? Was it good?
It was good. I made the traditional turkey, and I almost took a picture. It came out well. It came out actually really nicely. I shouldn't say well, because it was cooked to the appropriate doneness. Carrie got me a little while ago this meat thermometer that you can use while the bird is still in the oven or whatever you're cooking. It's for using in the oven, on the grill, whatever. And you can download the app so you can actually check to see, when something's done. And if you're trying to get to a particular doneness, like in this case, 170, it will like alert you. So I have learned over the years, and sorry if you're a purist, but basting doesn't do crap. It just doesn't. It just lets more air out of the oven. So I've learned not to do it. So this time I was like, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Oh, boom, it's done. We do stuffing inside the turkey, and it wasn't quite there yet, but I didn't want to over bake the turkey. So then we picked everything up, took it over to Mom and Dad's because they were hosting. We were just bringing stuff over, just the five of us. And I put the remainder of the stuffing into the oven for a while some other stuff was baking, and it came out at just the right temperature. And we all ate it, and nobody got sick, and it was also glorious. We had turkey, stuffing inside the bird, stuffing out in the bird and out the bird. We had mashed potatoes and 3 different kinds of pie and rolls and green bean casserole and a broccoli and cheese casserole and at least something I'm forgetting, and so much food. Whew, so it was good. It was good. How about you guys?
Ours was it was good. We went over to Hillsboro to go see relatives, and lots of people, lots and lots of family and little rugrats. So all of the grandkids were there, and they got to attempt to take pictures with them. Trying to get Trevor is the oldest. Penny is the second youngest. There are 8 of them.
That's pretty consistent then.
Mm-hmm. So trying to get all 8 of them to be like, okay, sit, smile, look this way. I think that the best description is herding cats.
Look this way. Stop biting your brother.
It was just like, sit still, keep your hands to yourself, stop crying, just look this way. And we're doing like the whole, people are jumping up behind the camera and trying to be like silly looking and everything. And 3 of the 8 are giggling and doing what they're supposed to do. And then there's, this one is on the ground going, no, I don't want to do this. I want to be there and want to do this. And you're like, you're just going, you know, thank goodness for Photoshop. You know, you take 15 pictures because at least in one of them, every one of them is doing what they're at some point in the 15. The kids will be doing what they're supposed to be doing in one of the pictures. So all you do is you just take the best pose for them and you just Photoshop them into one picture. Just be like, that's the one. That's the look. You guys just were so good and everything. When in reality, you're just going, if I don't strangle my child, it will be a miracle today. So, but it was good. The kids got to play and see each other and everything. So it was a lot of fun.
I think we should bring back headbutting children. Was that ever a thing?
I think it should have been.
Put a styrofoam helmet on their head and just be like, all right, you guys can go outside, run into each other, just don't kill each other.
Well, no, I mean the parents should headbutt their children. Wham! Because then the parent has to pay for it too, because it's their head. You know, it's not like you're smacking the kid, and that's free for the parent. Like, oh, this hurts me more than it hurts you. No, it doesn't.
No,
but a headbutt. You know, that's tit for tat there. I do not advocate beating children in any way. All right.
Just so we're on the same page.
But if you're gonna, it should hurt you too. Mike, how about you?
Well, then I'm going to two Thanksgivings. The first one, I also
rub it in, why don't you?
Yeah, actually, and I also went to Hillsborough to visit family. We visited with my family. Went to mom and dad's house, and my brother was there too, and we had a really nice time there. And then a couple days later on Saturday, we went down to Ashley's parents' house in Ashboro and had a nice day with them. So yeah, we did a little bit of driving there. There weren't any little kids running around, so we didn't have to deal with all that nonsense.
Now I'm gonna get Mike in trouble. Which one did you like more?
I mean, it's not gonna get in trouble if none of the people involved listen to it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be like that and answer the question.
Oh, he's smarter than I am. I have to say, the further we get from the giant Thanksgivings at Nana's house, which actually I stopped going to several years ago, even before Nana died, the less I miss it. Like, it was always a thing, is that we would go to Nana's house along with the rest of creation, and everyone would pile into Nana's house, and people would come in and out all day. And it wasn't like a meal where everyone sat at a table. It was like a giant buffet. Like, there was food everywhere, and every place to sit had a butt in it. And then everyone else was like watching football, or children were running around. And it was looking like the boy and I one year counted a total over the course of the whole day. I think it was like 38 people.
Oh, wow.
It was, I think that's right. But it was something just that when we thought about it later, like from the perspective of an outsider, we were like, what the hell? And it was always like there was no such thing as quiet, because like people are trying to watch football and there's kids playing. And there's like 4 other conversations going at any given point, and it was just a nightmare. I do remember the last time I went, the boy's oldest, McKinley, and I just got in the car and left. I think that was Thanksgiving. It might not have been. That might have been just one of the other many large gatherings of people. I remember it was cold as balls. And yeah, we went to Dairy Queen up the road and just ate a Blizzard and sat there and shot the breeze. away from the unholy den of noise at Nana's house. And like I used to look forward to it when I was younger. And like as I got older, I realized that I really don't like most of my family. Like my
Yeah,
extended family, like as people, I don't like them. And so being there became work. And then as I got even more like older and wiser, I realized that not only do I not like them as people, I would really rather not be around them. So yeah, it was that's just the thought I had not long ago. I was talking about Thanksgiving with someone. It might have been Amanda. And yeah, I came to that realization that once we stopped doing it, I stopped missing it. As weird as that sounds. So yeah. I feel like we were talking about something when Brian showed up.
You probably were, and then I'm like, darn technology, and then Thanksgiving.
Oh! I was talking about beat 'em ups.
Right.
Like Final Fight?
Exactly. So yeah. Okay, I'll start over. So I started playing beat 'em ups on MAME, which is the multi arcade machine emulator. That's where you play old arcade games on your computer. And like I said, I played the I just saw the chat. If you're gonna hurt your kids, it should hurt you too. Vote Chewie for school board. Thank you, Bogart. I will require teachers to headbutt children instead of the whole, or principals, I guess, instead of the whole paddling thing. But anyway, yeah, I decided, hey, I'm gonna play some of these old beat 'em ups because I've got all these arcade games now. I should play them. So let's go back and revisit one of my favorite arcade genres. And so I played The Simpsons, and it's not good, y'all. Like as a beat 'em up, it's actually miserable to play.
That's sad.
Now, as a piece of like, arcade history, yeah, sure, it's awesome. But as a game that you actually want to play, no, you don't.
I
Because
never get very far at it.
the beat 'em up, well, of course not. It was an arcade game. And the Simpsons game especially is cheap as hell. Oh, like every boss is designed to eat your quarters. But like, I just didn't enjoy it. Like the combat, which is all the game is, was not satisfying. I could never tell if I was actually doing damage or not. It just wasn't fun. And the same with the Ninja Turtles game, the original one, which everyone remembers fondly. No, don't play it. Trust me on this.
The Turtles
Is
2?
that the one that starts in the burning building?
It starts on the burning street, yeah.
Okay.
And then you end up in April's apartment that's on fire, and you fight. Who's in there? It's Rocksteady in there.
Rocksteady, yeah. That's Turtles 2. They called it 2 because the first one was the one that nobody...
On the Nintendo, it was called Turtles 2. In the arcade, it was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay. I have pretty fond memories of that one, but that also was one where it felt like, it could be pretty rough.
Like
the last boss especially is supposed to be like, oh, you thought you could beat this, you really can't. So,
oh yeah, the final boss, like Shredder has a one-hit kill when he hits you with that de-evolution beam that turns you into a full baby turtles. And it doesn't matter what your health is at. If it hits you, you're dead. Insert quarter. What?
Dead. Yeah.
But
and you can wail on that duplicate without being able to tell it's a duplicate for a long time. So
yeah. But like the NES version, I loved, but it's an NES version. You like on the NES, you took what you could get.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting, arcade quality.
They're remaking that.
Yeah, well, sorta.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Shredder's Revenge, I think, and it's on my wish list. on Steam. As soon as that pops out, I think Gothic and I are, and hopefully Bill, because he's a big Turtles fan. I think we're gonna get it, and then I'll go play, and it'll be awesome.
Okay. I'm sorry I kept interrupting your list, but you said it was meh?
No, it's not good. Like, once you get
Okay,
past
well,
the nostalgia, the actual gameplay beat 'em up mechanics are also boring, which makes sense because The Simpsons was apparently a board conversion for the Ninja Turtles game. In other words, if you had the Ninja Turtles game and you wanted to change it to a Simpsons game, instead of ordering a whole new thing, you could order a thing to plug in, and that would change it because it's the same engine. It's just different graphics and different setup. I don't actually know how board conversions work, but it was a quick and dirty way to more affordably get an entirely different game without having to buy a whole new arcade board. So yeah, but yeah, it's not good. Past the nostalgia. The nostalgia is awesome, but no. And from there, I've been just playing old beat 'em ups. Like I've played. Let's see, it looks like 17 thus far. And like from beginning to end, I play through to completion. And yeah, I've been ranking them and writing down pros and cons. This is going to be a video on the deep end at some point of what makes a good beat 'em up. And I've got another probably 30 some games that I want to play on MAME by different companies, because a bunch of these are Capcom games, because Capcom made beat 'em ups, like, and most of the good ones that you think of off the top of your head, those are Capcom. If they're not, they're Konami, and if they're not, they're someone else. But like the X-Men game holds up because combat feels good, and even though the gameplay is simplistic and repetitive, like I never got sick of it. But there's all kinds of other games, like Hook, which was by Irem, and yes, based on the movie with Robin Williams. That was actually pretty good. I played Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder, which is the one that never got a home release, and it was by far the best Golden Axe game. And it was fun. I played, still the top of my list is Alien vs. Predator, which, if you never played the arcade Alien vs. Predator beat 'em up, oh my god. Like, come over and we will play it on MAME, because it's insane. You've got 2 humans and 2 predators to choose from, and they each have different special, like, there are special moves. What? You got different special moves and different weapons at your disposal, and the gameplay's fast. None of this plodding along, like, think Double Dragon or Final Fight. No, things are running across the screen at massive speeds, and you're shooting things and stabbing things and picking up weapons and blowing stuff off, and it's just insane from beginning to end. Like, I had a blast with it. And yeah, but I've got a few games by Data East here I want to play. RoboCop 2 and Night Slashers.
Night?
Did Data East also do the Avengers one?
Yeah, that was Data East. That went kind of low on the list, but only because it's kind of simplistic. It used the license wonderfully, though. Like, that was one of my other problems with the Simpsons game, is that it didn't use the license. Like, all of the enemies are random characters that are generic Simpsons looking characters, and even the bosses, like the guy in the bar who's a drunk guy that attacks you. You know who that is?
Barney.
No. You'd think it would be Barney, but it's not. It's some random character. Barney, like all of the characters, except for Smithers. You have to fight Smithers because he's the one that kidnapped Maggie because she was sucking on a diamond. Don't ask.
Yeah.
But like even Smithers is like evil. I'm like, that's not even Smithers. Smithers isn't evil. He's a worm. And yeah, all of the actual uses of the license are like cameos in the background,
Hmm.
and that's it. And I'm like, why wasn't the big guy at the bar? Why am I not beating the crap out of Barney? Come on, man.
Was I
But, like,
right?
do what?
Was I right,
Was you right? What'd you say?
Barney?
No.
Did you not hear any of that?
Well, I heard it, and I'm going. Was I right? Is the drunk guy at the
No,
bar? His name is Barney.
No,
no,
he's some random nobody.
Oh,
Barney,
the
like,
random
Well, okay,
nobody.
that's his. Okay, Barney is his name of the person you're thinking of. Yes, but that's not who it was.
oh, okay.
That's not.
Yes, you were right. The drunk guy that hangs out at Moe's is in fact Barney, but that is not the boss you fight in that level.
Okay, that
That was the part
explains
that
the
I'm.
whole.
That's the part I was like, yeah, I heard the whole conversation, and then when you said Barney again, I was like,
He's
wait a
waiting the
second, was
whole
I
time.
right?
He's waiting the whole time. He's like,
To be
so
like,
who was it?
did I just say out a random name and the name was completely wrong?
No, Chewie's point is that the random guy that you fight is not
Is
the
is
character
a no
known
named
as Barney.
character they just sort of
Yes.
made up. They
Correct.
didn't
There
use any
is-
of the actual characters.
There
Yes.
is a guy named Barney. Although I think in later seasons he cleaned himself up, but I don't remember the specifics.
After
I mean,
I
it's
wanna
been on
say-
for like 40 seasons, so
yeah, it's been on long enough that it's been able to buy its own house. It's been able to buy alcohol, smoke,
Look,
and do a lot of things.
The
in this
Simpsons-
economy, I don't think so.
The Simpsons has been on so long that it's gone from a standard middle-aged family to a lifestyle that modern day standard middle class rather family to a state of being that standard middle class families right now cannot hope to achieve, because like a single income household could totally afford a house and 3 kids when The Simpsons started, and now a single income family with 3 kids, there's no way they're buying a house. There's no way. They're living in a crappy apartment like I am.
Well, even in one of the earlier seasons, we're talking about like one of the first 10 or so. Back when I was actually watching it on a regular basis, there was an episode where they kind of poked fun at themselves. There was a new employee at the plant, Grimes, who was like the self-made guy, and for whatever reason, I can't remember, Homer was determined to be his best friend, and so he invited him over for dinner and wanted to impress him. So he had Marge cooking lobster, and Grimes gets there, and he's like, "This is a palace, and I smell lobster. How on earth are you affording this on our salary? This just doesn't make sense." And this probably would have been, mid 90s. So even then, it was a bit unrealistic. And now, yeah, forget about it. Forget about it.
But anyway. So yeah,
So
but
what
like I
has been
said,
your favorite? What's been your favorite beat 'em up so far?
I just said that Alien versus Predator.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was another one on top of that. So okay.
No, that's the top. Right below that
So-
though is Ninja Baseball Batman by Irem, and that's at the top for sheer insanity.
I was gonna say, did you just have a stroke? Because
Like you are one of the 4 Ninja Baseball Batmen who each have their own special moves, which is cool. Combat feels really good, but everything that is attacking you is completely insane. At one point, you're in a plane, and you're being attacked by a sentient plane who is attacking you, and yeah.
you're inside of it. So
No,
is it
you're in
digest-
your character is in a plane, and then there's another thing that's a plane shaped thing that's beating on you.
Okay, I got you. I didn't know if you were inside the thing that was trying to eat you, or if it was a different plane. So
And,
it's a different
like,
plane.
There are pickups that say pink, and you pick it up, and cheerleaders pop out and cheer, and something happens. Like sometimes they drop healing, other times they like knock enemies down or something. I don't know. Like the whole thing is a big. Did you see what the like the whole time?
Are you dressed up as Batman?
no, not Batman. It's Ninja Baseball.
Man with a bat.
Bat. Man. They're 4 words.
Oh,
And you're like 4.
baseball bat. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 4 like robotic baseball player things. It's hard to explain unless you're actually looking at it. It's bizarre.
Well, to be fair, Batman is a ninja, so it would probably work either way.
That is
I'm
a
sure
good
he
point.
plays baseball every now and then.
But like I've got a Sailor Moon beat 'em up here I want to play.
Wow.
I've got a couple that were way later in the arcade life, like one from if it would load 2011, Knights of Valor 3. What? I've got let's see, some SNK ones. I played the original Double Dragon,
Ooh,
which went to the bottom of the list, even below The Simpsons,
I believe that.
because it
That-
Believe
is.
that too.
The hitboxes on that are dumb. And
Like
you
I
wanna talk
never
about
played the
game that is-
arcade version. I've only ever played the NES version. So I was looking forward to it. No, it's bad. Because it's not that it's bad, like the bones of a good game are there, but like it's so early in the genre that none of the smoothing things out had been figured out yet. And then there's like a platforming section where I died. There's one jump, and I think I jumped in the water 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Because it's a beat 'em up. Why is there a platforming section?
Did you at least reach 50,000 points on Double Dragon?
You know what? I did not look at my score, but I wish I had. And someone in the chat was making that joke when I was like, "Hey, let's play Double Dragon." Someone's like, "You gonna get 50,000 on Double Dragon?" I was like, "Shut up."
I love Double Dragon. It's so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so right now, the top tier is Alien vs. Predator and Ninja Baseball Batman. Then there's a small gap. And then it's everything else. And then there's a big gap. And then it's Ninja Turtles, Simpsons, Double Dragon. Like there's the top tier, there's the bottom tier, and then there's the other stuff. And some of these I'm playing in co-op with Gothic, the ones that are on Steam. So like we played Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom, which is so good. It's the top of the second tier. We played Warriors of Fate, which is awesome. We played Final Fight, which is like the baseline. We played King of Dragons and Knights of the Round, and there are I think 2 more games in the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, and the other D&D game that we still need to play, which we'll probably be doing tomorrow night, just for anyone interested, if he's available.
I definitely played Knights of the Round.
Yeah, Knights of the Round was the one that had Arthur and Lancelot and Percival.
I think so, yeah.
And then
Did anybody ever really play as anybody other than Arthur?
yeah, I actually found that I liked Percival the most.
Oh, really?
Just because he had a dash. I don't know why the big, slow, strong guy has a dash, but he did, so I pretty much stuck with him towards the end of the game.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And then King of Dragons is the one that starts the cross from Knights of the Round to the D&D games, because there's, let's see, a fighter, an elf who's an archer, a wizard, a cleric, and another one. There were 5. But I can only see 4 of them in my head. Maybe there were just 4. I can't remember now. But that one was fun. It's a little simplistic, but it was more fun than Knights of the Round. It's weird. It's weird, because I know like the Super Nintendo versions of these I love. But again, with like Super Nintendo versions of these games, you take what you can get. Because they tried their best to turn them into a good game for a home console. And by and large, they did. Like Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion, is a better, more fun game to play than Turtles in Time in the arcade.
I don't think I would disagree with you.
And Turtles in Time is it's on the 8th row, so it's number 7 on my list here. Like the Turtles in Time is way better than the original by like a mile.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible, the difference between the two. So, and the last boss still has some cheat moves, but not nearly as many as in 2.
Oh, and he was way cooler on the Super Nintendo. Like, we just got Shredder, and then you beat him, and he's done. And I was like, oh. But on the Super Nintendo, you get Shredder, and then you beat him, and then you get Super Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so much cooler.
Yes.
Because when he just died, I went, wait, where's the big guy?
I'm sitting here, I can literally, in my mind, conjure the music for the Super Shredder fight. Like, it's that ingrained in my memory. I'm just like, going now. Yeah.
And that's the one where you have to knock over the soldiers, and then you have to throw them at the screen because you're in Shredder, like you're in behind Shredder.
That one.
Oh, that was way earlier in the game. That's which
like
isn't in the arcade game either, by the way.
Yeah.
That's when you get knocked into the time warp, I think. So that's relatively early.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The first part of the game is just like, oh, this is like Turtles, and then the in time part comes later. So
yeah, like you're fighting Shredder in like the 3rd level or something. I'm like, what is going on? And then you get knocked back in time. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. But yeah, in the arcade, that happens in a cutscene. Shredder's like, I'll send him through a time warp, and he does. And I was like, wait, I didn't get to throw dudes at Shredder. And then I realized you can't throw dudes towards the screen in the arcade. And I went, oh, now I'm sad. Like,
at least they made things better and not worse.
Yeah, and like Turtles in Time, I'm pretty sure is the best beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo. But in the arcade, it's just not as good because, 1, there were way better arcade games, and 2, the Super Nintendo game was better. But yeah, so that's one thing I've been doing lately is figuring out this list of arcade games. Like as I finish each one, I go, all right, where do I put that on the list? And I've got some ratings here for combat, like how does the combat itself feel? Variety, because some games, like The Simpsons, are just boring the whole time. And then other games that, even though they didn't score super high on my list here, like Captain America and the Avengers, it has shoot 'em up levels. So it breaks up the gameplay, so you never get sick of playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so cool. And gameplay variety also covers things like weapon pickups, temporary weapon, like the pipe or the knives in Final Fight, that sort of thing. Or like in Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, there are a couple levels where you're actually driving your Cadillac over enemies instead of, walkie punchy. So that breaks things up. And having special moves on your character also helps a lot. And if each character actually feels different to play, that helps a lot. That sort of thing. That's another problem I had with The Simpsons and the original Ninja Turtles, is that each character is basically the same. Like, there are some stat differences maybe, but not enough to really notice. Like, there's no difference from playing Homer and playing Lisa other than the voice lines that they said. By the time I got done playing The Simpsons, I was actually playing all 4 characters at once because it was the only way that I wasn't bored to tears. So I set up MAME to where all 4 character inputs were on the same buttons, and I would just anytime they would all die, I would put a coin in each one and then hit player start on each one, and then walk all 4 of them around at once. That was actually really cool, but not really indicative of the game itself.
I mean, it's nostalgia makes up for a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And not to keep in mind, what choices there were at the time, and I was just like, "This is The Simpsons. This is awesome." And I remember around the first boss being like, "This doesn't feel fair," but I just convinced myself I just wasn't very good. Nice to know that I would probably still wasn't very good, but it's tough when the system is literally made to knock you down. So,
Yeah. Like, that's something I noticed when I was playing the X-Men game, is that the bosses are harder than the other enemies, but it's possible to get through boss fights taking minimal damage. And I'm not very good at these games, and like there were several of the bosses that I managed to figure out how I could hit them without getting hurt. And
I
with the
was
Simpsons, there was no, they're just gonna hit you.
I was Nightcrawler every time because
Nice.
just that's just how I rolled. That's
really
another
like,
one I have. What's that?
I was going to say, I really liked being Colossus, even though I don't think I actually understood his mechanics.
Oh!
Yeah, if you didn't do it, I was going to.
I was usually either Cyclops or Wolverine.
See, I was hoping Dirk was going to say Dazzler.
Nobody wanted to be Dazzler. Dazzler was always the one that people got stuck with if the other 5 were taken. I always preferred either Colossus or Storm, mainly because Storm's down attack was the coolest. Because she would,
That's right. I like being Storm too.
she would like stick her. She had like a little weapon for some reason, and she would stick that down in someone and then zot them, and they would instead of actually physically striking them like everyone else did. She would, and I always thought that was hilarious. Because it is.
Well,
When I was sorry, go ahead.
I always thought it was funny about Wolverine is that everyone used their mutant powers. Wolverine's mutant power in the game was, I sliced my claws really fast.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's
if you
not,
read the
I'm almost dead. Let me use my mutant powers where I like raise my health back up to full.
no, because that would make him extremely imbalanced,
Oh,
especially
I
in a
understand.
game where the whole point is to make you spend money. So,
It's true.
I mean, I get where you're going for, but keep in mind, how many of your friends did you have to actually explain to the claws are not actually his mutant power? Because that's the first thing everybody thinks. I'm sorry. Unless you read the comics or watched the movies once they came out. But I
I mean,
remember
at that
being a
point, we
kid.
didn't know that though.
Well, there you go. Was that not even explained, or?
I don't think so, because this is back in this is brown suit Wolverine. I don't think we realized that the claws.
I
Well,
mean,
I guess
that's the
technically the
first.
claws are part of his mutation because he's got the bone claws, but
It's the very first thing. Literally everybody notices about him. Made it later, maybe you're like, oh, those wounds closed. Okay, but he's coming at you with those. You're not gonna be like, I wonder how biologically he can end your dead. Because
oh,
Wolverine.
look at Mike being a mod in the chat. What was that, Mike?
I don't know. Something about buying followers and viewers on something.com.
Oh, nice.
So this is a bit of a departure, but just while we're on X-Men games, my cousin, when we were growing up,
Oh my
had the
God, is
Super
your cousin a
Nintendo.
mutant?
That might explain a couple things.
I have some
But
cousins
no,
I'm pretty sure are mutants, but not in that way. Anyway,
he
keep going.
got the he got the Super Nintendo before we did, and every time we get together, and this was the side of the family that even though they lived 6 hours away, we would see them for a lot of major holidays. He had Mario Kart, so that was one of the things that all the cousins did, and of
Nice.
course we were all like, if you won, you got to stay in. I didn't win very often, but he also had an X-Men game for the Super Nintendo.
Mutant Apocalypse.
No, it's interesting you mentioned beat ups because I think it was X-Men versus Arcade, which sounds like an
Oh,
arcade, but it's
Spider-Man
not.
and the X-Men. Yeah,
Yes,
that game.
yeah. And at the
God, I'm so
time,
sorry.
I thought again, wow, I guess I'm just not very good at games because I would try all. You had an intro stage as Spider-Man.
Yep.
and then you got to select a character. And I was like, how can I not last more than 5 seconds on any of these? I really convinced myself that I just was super bad at this. I had played video games. I had the original NES system, so I wasn't a professional, but I thought it was okay. And this game really humbled me. And then actually a little while ago, I just randomly was like looking it up, and apparently everyone agrees it's totally unfair. Like
Yeah.
just stupidly unfair. Every character has 2 stages they need to complete. Um and I think the only one whose first stage I beat was Wolverine.
Yep.
And I got to the second stage and could never figure out if you're actually supposed to be able to beat Juggernaut or just race to the end, and I couldn't do either. So I found Storm stages to be really interesting because they played so differently. I will say this: they did a decent job of making the character stages feel unique. And Storms were probably my favorite because she's stuck underwater, and you have to watch the water. You have to keep raising the water level, but then you have to keep watching her health
And her
through
oxygen.
and her oxygen. And she can shoot, thunderballs, and it's great. But even that, I still felt like, how long is this level? I feel like I've been playing it for like half an hour, and I have no sense of progress. So it was challenging, but it wasn't challenging like with a payoff. It was just like, hey,
Yeah.
we heard you like X-Men, so play this game
And like
forever.
the Gambit levels were mad dashes because he was being chased by a giant spiked ball.
Yeah, and
Which
he and
what?
you could run out of his ammunition. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
even remember what Cyclops' levels were, other than his stupid little mutant optic blast sucked in that game.
he was stuck in a mine, and I think if you hit the mine tracks, you died. So you had to ride mine carts, but if you fell off, you died, and all the enemies there like to hit you from weird angles.
Yeah,
He
it
didn't
was
feel
not
very
good.
mobile. Yeah, there was no Cyclops. No, there was no Colossus.
It was just those 5 characters, right?
It was Spider-Man, Storm, Wolverine, Cyclops, and Gambit.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
props to them for recognizing Gambit. So, and again, as a kid, I'm like, hey, it's an X-Men game. Sometimes that's all you want, but I couldn't get over the fact that I couldn't beat anything, and when you ran out of lives, you started the whole game over.
Yeah.
Who?
It was not a good one,
No,
unfortunately. I
but
think now that I'm older I could probably get into it slightly more, but only slightly. I know I have a mod for it or
super frustrated.
on what is this? On Launchbox that like it made some of the things a little more lenient. Like like I don't think Gambit can run out of ammo anymore, and I think Wolverine's health actually slowly recharges or something. It had just a couple of little tweaks to make the game less unfair.
I mean, that sort of thing can be tricky because you don't want to lose the feel of the original game. But
Yeah, speaking of X-Men games that I patched, I patched the Genesis game. I wanted to stream the Genesis game for so long, but you can't. Well, you can, but up to a point, then it gets to the point where you can't anymore because they were trying to be clever and they out clevered themselves. There's a point at the end of one of the later levels where it says reset the computer. And what they mean is physically get up and press the reset button on your Sega Genesis. And it will reset into the danger room and you'll start the next level after that. Not turn the power off and on. It's a soft reset. And emulators, apparently, none of the Genesis emulators currently have the capability of a soft reset. So if you were emulating the game like I would have been, you can't. But I found a mod that changed that, and instead of making you reset, it just goes from that point straight into the next level like a normal game. And it also tweaked some of the settings here and there, like Nightcrawler's mutant power uses way less MP, I guess, for the lack of a better term. It's mana, because like your mutant power, or your mana, let's call it, recharges over time, but it's so slow. And if you there are several places where you have to switch to Nightcrawler and like teleport through a wall, and if you screw it up, which is easy to do, and eat up all of your mutant power, you're just sort of stuck until it recharges, which is really stupid.
Is there a time limit like
I
a
can't
la
remember.
Mario where
I can't remember if there's a time limit for the levels or not. I don't think so, but it's just bad design when your character. Well, now I have to stand here.
Oh yeah, I'm not debating that. That's all. That's a real feel bad. I just thought if there's also a time limit, then that's extra punishing.
Excuse
no
me.
dying.
But yeah, it tweaked several things like that to make the game less just brutal. Apparently, the second X-Men game for the Genesis is really good, and I never played that one, of course. Like, everyone can just use their mutant powers whenever, because why not?
Because why not? Because
Yeah.
they're mutants.
And it made the game, a lot more playable. Also, they cleaned up hit detection and stuff, which was a little iffy on the first one. But yeah. Add those to the list of things I want to stream at some point. But yeah, the whole reason I'm doing this beat 'em up thing, just to take it back to that for a second, originally it was just nostalgia. I was like, I want to play some of these old games. And now it's, I want to play some of these old games and try to get a feel for what makes a good beat 'em up, and then turn that into a YouTube video. Possibly two. I might actually go through my ranking after I'm done. So I can't just play these. I want to record them. So if I'm going to record them, I have footage for later. So I might as well stream them. So that's why I've been streaming so many beat 'em ups lately. Is because, one, I have to play through them and then get a feel for how everything is, and then add them to the list and write some notes and have footage of all that. So I don't have to be, I want to use this one boss fight in this one game, but I don't have footage of it. Son of a bitch. I'm just recording everything and piling it on another hard drive. Just here. Here's all of it. And I'm labeling each video file when I'm done with what game is in there. Yeah. Also today, I started working on the actual honest to goodness script for the Zelda cartoon video.
Great.
Like,
nice.
I finally transferred all of my notes from my notepad to a digital notepad, and I'm trying to get a shape of the video, and it's gonna have essentially like 4 sections. One where I talk about, so the whole point is gonna be this cartoon is actually good, actually. So of course I'll start with, yes, excuse me, princess, yes, Link's a little rapey, but like that's how lots of characters were at that period in time, and it wasn't a giant societal what the hell. Because think of like Screech from Saved by the Bell. Remember how he was always after Lisa, no matter how often she was like, no! And Urkel and Laura Winslow. Like, it was just a thing there were characters that did that back then. So it wasn't.
That's how you can tell she can tell you like her is if you just stay after her over and over and over again.
Wear them down.
And notice that those characters you talked about, Screech, you talked about Urkel, are usually the ones that people would be like, oh, they're so harmless, and so they. Whereas if you had the jock doing that, it has a very different vibe. It shouldn't be treated differently, but it is.
Yeah.
Although
And in
Link's
this
a
case,
jock.
it was the jock doing it because
Yeah.
he's Link. So,
Yeah.
but so I'm gonna start off explaining that away. Yeah, okay. But if you ignore Link, this cartoon is actually really good. I'm gonna go through all of the fan service to the fans of the games because there were only 2 games out at the time. Like all of the things that are in the cartoon that are directly from the game, whether it's enemies or sound effects or gameplay elements, stuff like that. And then one on Zelda, how it's actually progressive for its time because Zelda only goes full damsel, I think, once in the whole show. Maybe twice.
There's an episode where Link becomes incorporeal and she basically has to do his job for him, right?
I think that was
I
like the
remember.
last episode too, or the next to last one of those. Yeah, but every time like Ganon like kidnaps her and ties her up, like she either frees herself or she like and once she bites Ganon while she's all like chained up, and I was like, "You go, girl." And I'm pretty sure throughout the course of the game, the show, there's only 13 episodes, but Zelda gets more hits on actual Ganon than Link does. Because she tags Ganon with weapons constantly. I was like, what? So yeah, Zelda is an actual realized character who kicks just as much, if not more, ass than Link does. And I got all examples of that. And let's see, what's the other thing? Oh, and all of the things that the show foreshadowed, like things that happened first in the Zelda series in the show. Things like, Zelda using a bow and arrow and using magic to reflect things. And Link riding a brown horse. And having an annoying fairy companion. All of that and so many more started with the cartoon. And then finally, just all the parts of the cartoon that are actually just cool in and of themselves for, a Saturday morning cartoon. Even though it was a Friday afternoon cartoon, whatever, same thing. Because there are a lot of shots and scenes and parts of each episode that are just like, that's awesome. Like at one point, just as an example, Ganon kidnaps the king of Hyrule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the king? It might be Zelda. Okay, I can't remember who it is in this particular scene, but I think it's the king. And the floor, he puts him in this round room, and the floor in the very center starts to disappear. So a pit is essentially opening, and that's the time limit. They've got an hour or however long to meet my demands, or you go in the hole. Ha! But when Ganon wants to show up to talk to the captive, he's standing on the wall perpendicular to the wall, to the character that he's talking to. And it's just so cool. I'm like, that's really awesome that they even thought to have him do that. Like, he could have just been floating in front of him or something, but no, they put him standing on the wall 90 degrees away from everything else. And of course, the camera is right side up, so you're actually looking at him stretching across the screen while he stands there. And I'm like, and it's just little things like that. They're like, that's actually really cool. Like, you never saw Skeletor doing shit like that. That's amazing.
Hey, okay, this is a completely separate thing, but did they came out with the second part of the He-Man thing, right?
Yeah, I still haven't watched it, sadly.
Okay, I was wondering how that went across. I haven't seen the first part yet, but is it first half and second half, or are there additional parts coming out?
I think this is it.
Okay,
but
good.
I have no idea.
I can watch the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's only 10 episodes total, so it shouldn't take you too long.
Okay.
I know I monstered through the first 5 in, I think, 2 sittings. But from what I understand, it's good, but I haven't actually taken the time to watch it yet because I want to actually sit down and focus on it, and I keep having stuff I want to do, so I just haven't yet.
Okay, I didn't mean to get you off track. Just cartoons. I was like, oh yeah. So.
Oh yeah. No wait, that's a different cartoon.
We finished. We were watching. Voltron, and I think by the end of the series it redeemed itself. I mentioned that there were highs and lows, and I felt like on season 3 they were really getting good, and then they kind of backslid a bit. But I think they got back on the right track.
Oh,
So
that's
it was
cool.
worth watching.
Yeah, at some point I'll go back to that. That was one I was watching while like on the iPad. Well, I guess it's not an iPad anymore. On the tablet while I was sitting here doing other stuff, because it's not one I felt like I had to pay real close attention to, and then I just kind of
Yeah.
stopped. So I should probably pick that up for that sort of thing when I'm sitting back here and not like focus, like not like video editing, but if I'm doing something that doesn't require my entire attention. Yeah. That's good to know, though. Well, Mike, you've been awful quiet. You got anything going on?
No, not really. Besides Thanksgiving stuff recently. Oh, wait a minute. Did I tell you guys about us going to see the Immersive Van Gogh exhibit?
No.
No.
How was that?
It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. We both enjoyed it a lot. I think it's been
Nice.
extended until like January 2nd or something. Like people keep showing up, and yeah, I'm sure they've made a ton of money off of it with people who keep coming to see it. So it's definitely worth their while to keep it rolling as long as people are coming in the door.
Where is it?
It's in Charlotte in a repurposed space inside an old warehouse, like it was an old manufacturing plant of some sort. I can't remember what it originally was, but then for a while they manufactured ammunition for the army during World War II, and then it was something else, and now it's just a space where part of the part of the complex has been modified into shop fronts and stuff, but this was another building where it's just like a big space inside, and they had set up in there. Um, it's really cool. The space they have set up is a pretty good size, and with big long walls that they have the projectors pointed at, and it's not just a square. They have some little it's an irregularly shaped space. It's squared off, but it's not just like a big rectangle. So there's like an alcove on this side, an alcove on that side that you can go sit in. And what you do is that when you get your ticket, you have a scheduled time to come in, but that's just when you arrive. You can stay as long as you want because the program just runs continuously. It's about half an hour long, but you can sit in there and watch it, and they just keep running it. You can sit there and watch it as many times as you. When we first got in there, it was about halfway through, and we found a nice place to sit down. And then when it started over again, we moved to another spot, another neat spot over there, and like in the corner that we thought looked interesting to sit down and watch it again. And then when it started over, we found another spot and another place to go sit in. That was real. That was a really, really good vantage point. And then after that, we headed out. But yeah, the music was the music was a lot more avant-garde and experimental than I was expecting.
That sounds
But
like
it
your
was,
jam.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
that,
sounds like a Mike to me.
yeah.
So,
My mom had gone to see it with some of her sisters several weeks before, and she made a comment to me, like she said when she was telling me and my brother about it one time, said, "I think you boys would really like the music." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then when I was there, I was like, "Oh, is it because the music's weird, Mom? Is that why?" Well, I do like it, but still, I guess you do know me as well as you think you do.
Man. That's pretty funny.
But yeah, it was a really cool show.
Nice.
good. Is this in Raleigh?
It's in Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be one of them big cities. So.
Yeah, and it's not just a bunch of like static images flowing past. They've also like animated little bits of the paintings here and there, and um, like brought different works from that he had done in a similar time period together, taking bits of pieces here and there. It's a really cool video collage installation.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And the music isn't all just weird stuff. There's also plenty of classical pieces backing it up, but there's some interesting stuff in there.
Word?
I have not done anything culturally enriching. We did buy a new mattress. We figured out we'd had the old mattress for 14 years.
Yeah.
With they tell you replace it after every 7, and we're like, yeah, no, it was fine. But by the end of that, it was definitely time to go. So we went to a couple stores, and the last one we went to, we walked in, a very nice lady there agreed to help us. I said straight off the bat, hey, we're probably not buying anything today because I don't like creating that assumption. There's always that. The second one we went to, I won't name the name, but she said she understood that, and then by the end she's like getting our information, and we're sitting next to a credit card swiper, and I'm like, okay, not right now. And Carrie and I had a not a disagreement, but we had liked different mattresses. So we go into this last one on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and we're like, hey, we're just looking, and she has us try a couple, and then this last one she's like, okay, so this is a purple, and people either love it or hate it. And we laid down in it, and I'm like, this is weird. I felt like the first one was weird, but they had 3 different versions of it. Second one, I was like, this is actually pretty comfortable. Got into the third one, and first of all, like, got into it. Carrie got in first, and I was kind of talking to the lady, and I got in, and Carrie's like, get back up. And I'm like, why? And she's like, cuz. She couldn't feel me get in and out of bed. Like, at all. Like I started, like, doing a bit of a jig and stuff, and then she got up, and I'm like, that's incredible. And it also didn't hurt that in a couple days of shopping for a mattress, we're usually like, I'm like, okay, I know this one was comfy, but how does this one compare to 3 mattresses ago? It's not like I have like a scale 1 through 10. This was easily the most comfortable mattress I've probably ever slept in ever. And some of them, are on back order or whatever. This one we got on Saturday. So, yay for new mattresses. And you can tell when it's your first new mattress after 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the one that's constructed of like all the individual like cells put together?
Yes. You can look them up online. Or
just watch YouTube. Actually, no, I haven't seen a purple ad on YouTube in forever. Now that I think I used to see them freaking constantly, though.
Oh, talking about ads made me remember something. I'll get to it after you're done, Brian.
That's pretty much it. We bought a new mattress. Yay.
Yay.
I haven't been to any art exhibits. So I was just comparing.
So what about ads, Mike?
Okay, so Ashley and I have access to a Hulu subscription now because my new phone, I got onto her family's Verizon plan, and so there's the version of the plan they have is like there's Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN and whatnot. And so we started watching some stuff here and there. At first, she really wanted to watch Chopped, but then it turned out like the version of the grade of subscription we have to Hulu doesn't give access to Chopped, even though it's on there.
Everything's so segmented these days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Hulu thing, like Hulu with live TV, which is the version I assume you need for that, because
Hmm.
there's only like there's Hulu with ads, there's Hulu with no ads, but those are the same except for ads. And then the Hulu with live TV, which is like 80 some dollars a month or something, has just gazillions of other things. And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's weird."
yeah. The version we have is the Hulu with ads, and it was all set up with her mom's information. Like they asked me for help setting it up, but it was all set up with her mom's stuff, like including like her age or whatever. And Hulu was like, "Yeah, we want to know this so we can basically so we can serve you targeted ads."
Well, of
Um,
course, yeah.
yeah. So I was like, "Fine, whatever." So we ended up watching, we found this other interesting cooking show to watch. And the ads, one of the ads that would play pretty often during the ad breaks was one for eharmony.com. I'm like, what? And it was just like there's two versions of the ad. One where it's just a bunch of, you know, nice looking young ladies, talking about, oh, it's so easy to find someone to eHarmony, and they look at the screen and smile and blah blah blah. And there's a similar one where it's guys. And I'm like, why would Hulu ask this stuff? And why would it serve eHarmony ads to an old woman watching cooking shows? But then
They're
later
trying.
it hit me, wait a minute. This isn't for her. This is for her to see so she can tell uh, a child or grandchild about about it.
Have you
It's
tried
not.
that eHarmony? I've seen it on the TV, and I
Yes.
bet you could finally find someone there with your loser ass.
It's not too late, Ashley. It's not too late.
Ashley does know I'm single, right? I mean, what?
Yes,
Nothing.
yes, she does. But yeah, that was just an amazing. Like that has to be it. That has to be it. It's there. The ad is being served to what Hulu thinks is Ashley's mom, so that she could tell her grandkids about it or something.
Pretty funny. Plus, old people have spouses that die, and then rather than be alone, they're like, maybe we can, find someone
That's
else to
true, but
hang
all
out
the
with.
people in these commercials are young people, like younger than you and me.
Let Chewie
Mike,
finish.
everyone is younger
So,
than you and me.
well, and hey, like just because you're old doesn't mean they have to be. You can quote me on that one.
It's true, yeah. There are some oh god, what is it? Credit Karma? Credit Karma can go to hell. I don't even know what Credit Karma is. It seems like a scam. But there are like 4 completely different flavors of ads that play before YouTube videos. One is like an influencer type video. It's like, "What's up? It's your boy Benny Knows." And then he goes
Yeah, and
on to tell you,
you see it's like 7 minutes long, and you're like, okay, no, skip it.
"No, this one's only like 30 seconds long, but
Oh, okay.
I'm jamming on the skip button because I hate Benny Knows. I don't think Benny Knows is an actual person. I think it's a character for the ad, but I hate him.
Yeah.
But then there's another version of Credit Karma that's the same information, but it's a completely different format that's much more like, middle-aged mom targeted ad. And then there's another one. I've zoned them all out. Those are the only two that like stick out of my mind because they're the ones I see the most often. Probably because of the type of stuff I watch on YouTube. But it drives me up the wall that Credit Karma has so many different flavors of ads for the same thing, which is, hey, you might maybe possibly win free stuff if you use Credit Karma instead of your Discover card or whatever. I'm like, it's like, hey, pump gas, pay for it with Credit Karma, get free karma. Hey, it's free money. We're giving away free real estate. Like, No, that's not how any of this works.
And most credit
Stop it.
cards have points too.
Yeah, exactly. But this is like instead of points that accumulate, it's like a lottery because you
Mm.
might get instant karma, which I assume is just I don't actually know what that means, but I hate them, and I will never find out. Like credit karma can go screw, or as apparently it's cool to say again, can kick rocks. I see that pop up a lot, and I'm like, is that supposed to be a bad thing? Because when I see rocks, I tend to kick them. Like gravel on the street, I'll kick it down the road.
Instinctively, I'm like,
Yeah.
that rock should be down there. Ping, 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 ping.
Like last year when I was actually walking around the development every day, there was a rock that I would find on a lap and kick a few times and then keep walking and then find it on the next lap and kick a few times and then find it the next day and kick a few times. I think it made like 2 full laps around the complex with me. It's just, hey, there's this rock that's really good for kicking. So, and then one day I couldn't find it and I got sad because that's what COVID lockdown did to me. You know, it made me sad about not being able to find my rock friend.
Well, we all have standards.
Yeah, and they were all sorely tested, seemingly for nothing, since we still have COVID running rampant. Even though there are certain political parties that are trying to tell you that COVID is over, even though a gazillion people are still dying constantly. Whatever.
As of today, to omicron, I was pronouncing it omni, like all, but there's no n, so it's OMI.
Yeah, I think the way that my brain
It's
says
a
it
Greek
is Omicron,
omicron.
but I don't know if
It's a
that's
Greek
actually right. But I don't know if there is a right way.
Mike.
I've I've read and heard things, and it's totally confusing because
Yeah.
in my mind it should be Omicron because the letter that they're referring to represents the short O sound.
Yeah.
In Greek, well, in classical Greek, I don't know. I guess I don't know what it represents in modern Greek, but everyone, like on the TV, says Omicron, and I guess they're all saying it that way because that's how to do it, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Mm. But as of today, there were 2 confirmed cases in the U.S., which future listeners will listen to this and be like, 2? Ha ha ha. I remember when we were under 10 on the original strain, and people were like, oh, good, we've got this. And then, no. So, but just to show you that, we're not out of this, no matter how much everybody wants to be out, but issue is that some people are willing to do something about that and others aren't. But, we've also been talking about it for the last year and a half because it won't go away. So, yay. Chewie, you were boosted, right?
I was, and I managed to dodge all the side effects.
Cool.
Like
Oh, awesome.
the
Nothing
J
fell
and
off?
J shot is the one I had, and it kicked the hell out of me for one night where I had the awful chills, and then the next day I felt terrible because I didn't really sleep that night. But I didn't feel terrible because of the booster. I felt terrible because of the lack of sleep, and so I got it on the Tuesday, I think, before Thanksgiving. I think something like that. So that like I would, if it did hit me, then I would only miss like a one night of dashing.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I got nothing. I felt fine. My arm wasn't even sore.
Hmm.
I mean, it was sore
Okay.
at the spot where it was injected for a little while, but that's because there
And
was a needle shoved in there. And my other arm actually had the flu shot, and it hurt worse going in than the Moderna booster I got.
the flu shot never bothers me, except that if I don't constantly work out that arm, it locks up like within a couple hours, and always the next day because I've been sleeping. It's like, yeah, you're not doing a lot with me today, but okay.
Yeah, like I meant like when she put in the Moderna booster, I was like, okay, and I felt like a little pressure. When she put in the flu shot, I was like, ow. And she even warned me, she's like, this one will probably hurt a little bit more than that one, and it did. And I went, oh, okay. But yeah, other than the a little bit of soreness, like I said, at the point of impact, nothing. Like with the J&J shot, my arm was sore for like 3 days. Like,
and I remember it hit you hard that first night.
Oh my God, dude. That was unreal because I had never had the chills, like shakes like that ever. Yeah. It was terrifying. Like I knew what the cause was. And like, this is another thing, you know, sort of like the hiccups where I can just concentrate and stop the hiccups. If I'm cold and I start shivering, I can like concentrate and like loosen certain muscles and whatnot, and I can most of the time, unless I'm really cold, stop shivering because I don't know, I just can. But with these, there was no nah, and it was awful. The parents, for all of their shots and boosters and everything, no side effects except mom itched for like a day and a half. But not like bad.
Just kind of like general itchiness.
She's like, yeah, my arms itch, like the whole arm, and I'm like, that's weird. She's like, just a little bit. And by the time like that night rolled around, she's like, she could only barely feel it. This was the next day after the shot, and that was it. Like they had no sickness, no chills, no fever, no nothing. And I was like, you know what? Screw you, old people. But yeah, I got nothing with the booster, and I was very happy about that because I was not looking forward to it.
Well, good. I'm glad you made it through. Okay, it's 10:00, and I have work that I need to do because to get ready for tomorrow because I couldn't do it earlier today. So I'm gonna bid you guys.
Hope you don't need your computer for that.
That's gonna make things more difficult, but fortunately, it's not absolutely required. I'm just gonna have to get in there, I guess, but not gonna deal with that tonight. Good to talk to you guys. It's been too long. 2 weeks, I guess, is too long. Mike and Dirk, we're not gonna be doing anything this Saturday with D&D. I just want to throw that out there. With my schedule, it's just not gonna work. We're gonna look at next week, but there's a chance I will be out of town, so we'll do it when we can. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I kept forgetting to tell you that we're not going to be available this weekend anyway. So.
Oh well, there you go. So more
this
art
weekend's
museums?
our anniversary, so.
Well, so this wasn't going to work for anybody. So, okay.
Jimmy's going to sign on a Discord and be like, "Where'd everybody go?"
Damn, this was the one weekend that I was going to join in. Oh well.
Yeah, sure.
Darn.
Hey, Chewie, roll a d20. You're dead.
I put my dice away.
That's okay. Some rocks fell and you died, so it's okay. All right, everybody have a great night and be safe, and remember to not hate everybody, and
just the ones that deserve it.
Just the ones that deserve it. And I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Alrighty.
Night, B.
Bye-bye.
And I am also going to have to bounce because I got to go to bed and get myself my beauty sleep for tomorrow.
But you're already so cute.
I know.
And humble.
And so humble about it. So with that, I bid you all farewell and adieu, and have a wonderful night.
All right, night, Zerk. Damn, Mike, everyone just bounced.
Yeah.
It's like a switch was flipped and everybody scattered. It's like a light turned on and the cockroaches all ran away. Oh my God, I found a cockroach in my apartment. Was that was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right before, so I was getting up. Well, I had to pee. All right, fine. There, I said it. I was getting up to go to the bathroom before I went to Dash, and I glanced down the hall and saw a dark shape that wasn't there earlier, and I went, "The hell is that?" Because anytime I find like a bug or something in the apartment, I just get pissed off anymore. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
this is some more crap I gotta deal with. So I flipped on the light and my eyes got real big because it was big fuck off cockroach. And I went, Now, it's not the first cockroach I found in the apartment, but the only other one was, 10 years ago. So, so I was like, ugh. And it was in the doorway of the office facing towards the front door. Like it was just hanging out in here. And I was like, you little bastard. So I put on shoes and he started wandering slowly, thankfully. He didn't skitter or I'd have, crapped myself, towards my bedroom. And when he rounded the corner, I just kind of walked up behind him and stood on him. For a while, because those things are, hard to kill sometimes. And I picked up my foot like real quick in case he darted out from under it. And no, he was dead. And I went, oh, good. Grabbed a whole lot of paper towels so I didn't feel him squish because and picked him up and wiped up the little bit of guts that came out because he was a big cockroach and went, oh. And yeah, then I went to pee. But yeah, that was my for the day yesterday. Was that yesterday? That might have been the day before. Yeah. And that's my story. Oh man, you want to hear a DoorDash horror story?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not really a horror story, but so my first order, right? On the last day of the month. I need one order to fulfill the Top Dasher requirements, right? So I'm like, yes. I got to get this order. But I can't unassign this order and give it to someone else because my completion rating is already at the minimum. So I have to take this order no matter what. And it's for Giada's, the Italian place on Main Street that I desperately love. And I walk in and I'm like, hi, DoorDash, I got the order for such and such. And she goes, so yeah, we haven't gotten any DoorDash orders all day. And I went, She goes, she's on the phone with DoorDash right now to get them to put us on hold. So people will quit placing orders because our internet's out. And I went, oh. And she goes, okay. And she's like, they put us on hold for an hour. I was like, what happens if you don't get it back in an hour? She goes, And she goes, you can give us the order and we'll, go ahead and put it in. We're not busy right now, so you won't have to wait as long. And I went, So I let the customer know what was going on. And I showed them the order and she manually typed everything in and, ran off to the kitchen. And I went, all right. And I called DoorDash. I was like, hey, I just want y'all to know this is what's going on. And before I called DoorDash, one of the ladies there called the restaurant from her cell phone. And it turns out their phone is through Spectrum too. So not only did they not have internet, they didn't have phone. So that was nice. So I called DoorDash support to see if, all right, I'm going to wait here for this order. It's probably going to take way longer than it should for a normal DoorDash order. So I wanted to, one, make sure it didn't count against me for being late because it's going to be late. And two, see if they would give a brother, a bonus, a couple bucks or something, just for going above and beyond for the sake of a customer. And it turns out, no, they won't, because why would they do that? But they did make it so it didn't count against me for being late. So I was like, yeah, thanks. I was very nice to the guy on, the Indian dude on the phone, because they clearly outsourced their customer support.
Yeah.
And, I made it clear to him. I'm like, I'm not mad at you, dude. I understand you can only do what you can do, but he's like, this call is being recorded. I said, good. Hey, for any DoorDash higher ups that are listening to this, you might consider doing something nice for your Dashers every once in a while when they go above and beyond for the sake of the customer, like I'm doing right now. I'm just saying, because this is going to be like a 45-minute order that should have been 10. But I'm doing it so the customer, because if I unassign it, it's just going to go to the next Dasher who's going to have to do it again.
Yeah, and continue the problem.
Yeah. And it turns out when I got to the customer, she said that she saw 2 other names before me, which means 2 Dashers went in and said, "Hey, I got this order." They're like, "Well, we don't have that order." And they just unassigned it and fucked off. And I was like, bastards. Because at the very least, I was going to give them the order and then unassign it. But then I realized I couldn't unassign it. And, so that when the next person showed up, they'd be like, "Yeah, we're making that one." So I just waited. And it turns out that the customer appreciated it so much, she gave me an extra $10 in cash.
Wow.
And the restaurant appreciated it so much, they gave me a $10 gift card.
Wow.
And they put one in the bag for the customer, too, for having to wait the extra long time. And I was like, wow. That's awesome that the customer and the restaurant both care more than the people who actually pay me, the bastards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was on that one order for about 45 minutes because I even started early that day. I was like, let me go ahead and make sure that something horrible doesn't happen and I get no orders in some amazing coincidence. So I started like 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
And got that order almost immediately. And now I see why. So yeah, that was fun. It turns out that the rest of the night actually went pretty well, and I made almost $50 on only 5 orders, not counting the $10 cash or the $10 gift card. So it actually was a good night, despite that one giant speed bump. So yeah. Yeah, dude, the week of Thanksgiving, I only worked 4 days because it was, Thanksgiving. I didn't dash on Thanksgiving because I learned last year, even though the world is shut down, that's a dumb idea. And this year the world wasn't shut down, so it was even more of a dumb idea. I made more this week than I have like the last, I think, 3 weeks. Because there were like, I had 3 catering orders essentially that were giant orders that each paid me like $30 some. One on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So yeah, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was like the best 3-day run I've ever had in the history, my almost 2 years of DoorDashing. I was like, huh. Cool. And it was like, take a picture of your catering bag and submit it to us. And I'm like, why? And then I tried to accept the order, like say that I picked it up, and it wouldn't let me say I picked it up. I had to take the picture or say I don't have one. And I have one, which they told me if I ordered it from DoorDash, it would be integrated into my account that I had it. But apparently that didn't work because of course it didn't. So I take a picture of your bag, and I went, fine. Took a picture of the bag, and it's like, okay, we'll verify this later, but go ahead and take the order. I went, all right. And then 2 days later, it was like, take a picture of your catering bag. I'm like, they're pizzas. They don't fit in a catering bag. It's like, take a picture of your catering bag. I'm like, so I got the catering bag out of the trunk, put it in the seat, took a picture of it, threw it back in the trunk, and then put the pizzas down in the seat. There's a stack of 6 pizza boxes. I'm like, this is physically not happening. What the hell is wrong with you people? So apparently they haven't gotten around to verifying the catering bag thing, because why would they? That would be convenient for the actual people doing the delivering that they pay, sorta.
Yeah.
The more I'm part of the gig economy, the more I want capitalism to fall down and burn.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's really not, dude. But it pays the bills and lets me continue being a mostly full-time content creator, so nice. I never replied to Cheyenne about the animation. Whoops. I gotta do that when we're done. Okay. So yeah, I hired, for you guys listening, I hired an animator to do like an intro animation for YouTube videos of a little cartoon Chewie on a diving board, and he's going to dive into the pool logo, and it's going to splash, and the splash is going to form the words "the mana pool," turn into the logo. And for the deep end, I have an idea for an addendum to the end of that, where I'm gonna it's gonna go black for a second, and then it's gonna open up on Chewie's face like I opened my eyes. So, the cartoon Chewie head, you guys know what I mean. Where it looks like I opened my eyes, and then it's gonna cut from grinning Chewie to the Chewie, and then it's gonna zoom out to show that I'm floating in the deep end logo, which is gonna be in like an actual pool, like an Olympic pool, I guess you call it. Like at the YMCA, where there's the deep end of the pool, and the slope down to the deep end. You know what I mean? And if you don't, then you don't. So whatever. But yeah, the logo is going to incorporate that somehow. I just have to get someone to make that. I guess I'll talk to Cheyenne about that when she's done with the animation. Because I was going to get the same person that did the logo and the design for the tokens and all to do it, but she's not available, unfortunately. So, but yeah, so the deep end is going to be the YouTube channel where the Legend of Zelda video and the beat 'em ups video and the Marvel videos and all are going to go. Scripted video essay style things, and I'm very excited. In case you can't tell, I know nothing is happening that you can see, but I am doing stuff, and it's awesome. And if you're a lifeguard at the $5 tier or more, then I posted the storyboards, the rough storyboards that she sent in the Discord and the lifeguard stuff channel, so you can see it. So yeah. But I get the feeling that I'm losing Mike, so we should probably stop.
Yeah, part of it's because I had a cough for the past week, and it's like there's something about getting later in the evening, I guess just being more physically tired. It starts to make my throat hurt, makes my voice rougher.
Yeah, Mom used to call that the night air. She's like, get in out of the night air, your cough will get worse. And then the cough will get worse anyway. And she'd say, it's because you're out in the night air. I'm like, okay, Mom. That's like the whole, don't go out without a coat, you'll catch a cold. I'm like, that's not how colds work, Mom. Colds don't care if I'm wearing a coat or not. But, whatever. But yeah, since we're losing Mike, and we already literally lost the other two, we will stop here then. So this has been a random ass just chatting stream that I kind of enjoyed, actually. I like this. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, it was good. Talk to you.
Yeah. But we will stop now. So yeah, I hope you all have a fabulous evening here in early December. And Mike, I think it was you I mentioned this to. There's another upswing in temperature. I knew there'd be one more, but it's going to be like 70 tomorrow or the next day.
Oh yeah, it was
one of those.
Really warm today too.
And I knew we weren't getting full winter yet. There was going to be one more fake like summer or whatever, because it's North Carolina and you don't get winter. Screw you. You get occasional winter with bits of other seasons thrown in, because weather here sucks. Anyway, I've lived here all my life. You think I'd get used to it, and I could call it, but I still hate it. Like, I'm still surprised by it. I was hoping I was wrong. But anyway, so yes, we will be done now. So, hope you all have a fabulous evening. And yeah, let us know. Are there any arcade beat 'em ups that you like, or I actually don't remember all the stuff we talked about. I just remember that was the thing I talked about, so I remembered it. How about games on Steam that you have but haven't played? How many of those do you have? Don't count. It'll just depress you. Because mine's a lot. Like a lot. But alright, yeah, have a good night. See y'all later.